Hello and welcome again to another episode of Battle Ready.
Ready.
Today, we thought we'd talk about some AOS mechanics, especially as we get closer to, or presumably we're getting closer to, the 4th edition. What are some things that 3.0 has got right, and what are some things that they've got wrong? And today, we thought we'd talk about one mechanic in particular, and that mechanic is?
Recursion.
Recursion. Drake, what is recursion?
When someone dies and then comes back.
Yeah, so getting your models back after they've been killed. I think that from a lore thematic standpoint, having recursion in the game is good. I think particularly for some death armies, I think it makes sense.
Yes.
I think it can make sense for a lot of horde armies, right? It's like, there's so many goblins. I can't kill enough goblins. They're all there, right? But it's been implemented in a number of different ways.
Yes.
So we thought we'd talk about 1, 3, 4?
Four.
So we've got
Stormcast.
Nighthaunt. Oh yeah, Stormcast.
Nighthaunt, Stormcast,
Gitz, and Soulblight. So let's talk about Stormcast. So for those who are not Stormcast fans, how does Stormcast recur?
There are two main ways I can think of. One is Yndrasta, she can bring dudes back. And planting the banner of Apotheosis will give you 3d3 health worth of units back. Yep.
So now Stormcast, interestingly enough, it's not a battle trait. It's not something the army can generally do. But there are a couple of units that do res guys.
Yes.
I'm sure there are other armies that are like that.
Yeah.
We don't have every army.
Close
but
enough.
I'm sure there are other units in other armies where the battle traits don't give them that ability. But there is a guy who can heal some things. Yeah. And in fact, everybody could get that with the Emerald Lifeswarm. Yeah. Right? Emerald Lifeswarm can bring stuff back to life. So there is that. What do we think about that?
That seems a little too small and too localized.
I actually think that's good. I mean, I think it's, especially for something like Stormcast, where it may not make complete sense that they die and get reforged and come back right away, right? It doesn't make complete sense. But I think having it limited to just a couple of units, it's not an army-wide thing, I think it's good. I think having that level of small recursion is good. Yndrasta does it every turn, but the banner is once per game.
Yeah.
And in Yndrasta's ability, she has to be, I think, within 12, or the unit has to be wholly within 12 of her. So it's localized. So there is some recursion, but it's small. It's relatively low impact on the game.
Yeah.
All right. Second one. And so we're going to go from like least impact to highest impact. So
I'll rank Nighthaunt next.
You want to do Nighthaunt next?
Yeah, I think Nighthaunt is next.
So Nighthaunt has recursion. How does that work?
Have the Guardian of Souls can res with a spell.
He has a spell on his War Scroll.
The guy, what's the guy with the chain link?
Oh, the Spirit
Torment. He can res.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and then maybe there's like some artifacts or something. Oh, Alinder can res.
Alinder has a res, yeah. There's a command trait that allows a res.
But then there's just a couple of things sprinkled through the enhancements that can res.
So I think that this is good for two reasons. So first, it's tied to a couple of specific models, right? Spirit Torment being one, Guardian of Souls being the other, neither of whom are
big.
Yeah, neither of whom are otherwise super great. They're not great combat fighters. They're not huge anvils that can take a lot of damage. Yeah. I mean, they're sort of okay. They're not bad.
They're there for resing.
They're just not okay. And so you staple this ability to them. Also, I like that the Guardian of Souls is a spell.
Yes.
And the reason I like that is because your opponent does have an opportunity to
try and stop the res.
To try and stop you. So there's a little bit of interactivity, right? So that spell can get D6 models back, which can be really good or can be almost meaningless. But it's good because at least your opponent has the opportunity to try to unbind, right? Or to do a heroic willpower.
Yeah.
That gives your opponent a chance. I also think that for both of them, or at least for the Nighthaunt, it helps that the units they can res are the bad ones. Yeah. Well, bad's probably too strong a word, but like chain rasps are not big.
Unless they're in the
Blade guys are fine.
If they're in Scarlet Doom, they're pretty good.
They have that good charge.
Yeah.
But they also, they only fight in one rank, right? Banshees are fine.
Banshees are so good. We know they stab like insane.
They can be pretty good stabbers. But I mean, the units overall, but they're all 4-up ethereal, but 4-up save.
Chain Rasps are 5-up.
That's true. Chain Rasps are 5-up.
Chain Rasps
they're all
suck.
1 health.
Yeah.
They have barely mortal protection because it's 6-up. So these units are pretty easy to kill. And so rezzing them isn't that big a deal because they're pretty easy. You can kill them back in. So I think that it makes it. Nighthaunt feels to me about right. I feel like that's where we should be.
Yeah.
You're giving it either very localized to a particular unit. You're stapling it on a unit so that it's not just generally an ability.
Yep.
Or you're making it a spell so that there's some interactivity.
Yes.
Right. You get, even if you don't have magic in your army, you can still heroic willpower and try to stop it. Yeah. Right. So everybody's got the opportunity to try to fight that. So I think Nighthaunt is probably the best recursion. So now that we've hit that top of the hill, we're gonna start sliding down this way. So let's talk about gitz. So how does it work in gitz?
Gitz on a 4-up, you receive.
So first you have to have your
Loon Shrine.
Your Loon Shrine.
Not blown up.
So it's a battle trait. Well, it's not a battle trait, but it's something that the army gets as long as they have their Loon Shrine, right? So it's not tied to a specific unit. It's not tied to any. It's not super localized, sorta. It's just on your Loon Shrine. Now, how does it work?
On a 4-up, you receive a half.
When do you roll?
At the end of your turn. On a 4-up, you receive a half strength unit rounding up worth of models. Yes.
So if you've had 10 Squig Herd die, or a 10, or I guess it would be a 12-man unit Squig Herd,
you get 6.
You can get 6 back. If you have a 3-pack of Iron Guts die, you can get 2 back. So this,
Iron Guts.
I'm sorry, rock guts. Guts of some kind. So this one is where I don't think this is terrible.
One thing that also happens is Glory Grabbers, where you can get 2 points if you take them.
Yeah. We're just talking about the recursion.
Yeah.
I don't think this is terrible, but I think we're definitely cresting onto the downside. And the reason is, one, there's no interaction.
Yeah.
Your opponent has basically no ability to stop it. Now, could they smash to rubble?
Yes.
Yeah, but they have to have a monster. They've got to get it to your Loon Shrine. It's not always realistic.
And then they got to hope it's not made of some kind of dwarven concrete.
Right, you got to hope you can roll good. So when I try to do it, it's not going to happen.
It's failed.
But so the interactivity is pretty minimal. And then it's just a straight up die roll. So, and yeah, so you either get it or you don't. And the things that save it are, it has to be they res near the Loon Shrine.
Yep.
So
it can res pretty close.
At least it's stuck. Yeah, they only
12 inches out.
Outside 3 of enemies though.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit localized, I guess. But I hate that it's just a single roll and you get a half unit back. The other thing that sort of saves it is you only get to roll once per turn on your turn.
Yeah.
So that's 5 rolls total throughout the course of the game. You're probably not using that first one.
Hopefully.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully you're not using that first one. And then even if maybe you're not even using the second one, but if you are, you're getting back maybe 2 half units through the course of the game. And if you're playing trolls can be good. Trolls are pretty worthwhile. But the other ones, if you get back half a pack of goblins or you get back half a pack of squigs.
If they were beefed up.
It's okay. But it's not game breaking, right? You're not winning the game because you made that 4-up roll. I don't like that there's not a lot of interaction. I don't like that there's it's just an automatic thing that every gitz does.
Yeah.
But I also don't hate it.
Yes.
Yeah. Overall, it's a fine power. I really wish that it would work slightly differently. If they're gonna do it, I would rather them do it as a battle trait, not tied to your Loon Shrine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would rather that you could bring back, gosh, I don't know. I'd have to think about it how I want to fix it, but it doesn't need that much fixing. It's mostly sort of okay.
Yeah, I think it goes in between Stormcast and Nighthaunt for me.
Maybe, but I sort of view it like this: like Stormcast is barely anything. Nighthaunt get it right. We're coming down. Here's gitz. So it's on the bad side, but barely.
Yeah.
But barely. And then we're going to talk about Soulblight.
the lords.
The lords.
Of bad recursion.
How does recursion work for them?
I've only played them like twice, so I don't really know.
All right, well, I'll tell you. They've got a couple different ways. So first, every turn you get to pick a hero, and summonable units that are near them get rezzed. Then, every turn, both on your turn and on the opponent's turn, you roll a die. On your turn, a 3-up. On your opponent's turn, a 4-up. You can bring back a half unit. So they get the gitz ability, plus on their turn, they can do it on a 3-up. Both of these abilities happen auto.
Ow.
There's no spell. There's no anything. It's just you roll. There's no interaction from your opponent. And it's a problem because that is a lot of coming back.
Yes.
Gitz, at most, I should say on average, you're getting 2 half units back.
Mm-hmm.
That's not nothing, but it's also
not great.
Not great.
Yeah,
and it's not going to dramatically affect the course of the game. With Soulblight, though, you'll
get like your army's summonable units worth of points back.
And not only that, but the summonable units in the Soulblight. So the summonable units in Nighthaunt they're okay. They're fine. There's nothing. I don't think any of them are super great. But the summonable units in Soulblight
are good.
Can be pretty good.
Graveguard, good.
Graveguard is summonable, and they're amazing. Skeletons aren't bad.
Zombies are good.
Zombies, okay, so they used to be amazing.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
And now they're still good.
And now they're still good. They're still good. So you bring all this together, and Soulblight are getting back consistently way more.
Yep.
Right, and then you can throw in a gash in for Soulblight or Nighthaunt and get more even than that, I guess. But we won't count the gash. But they're getting back way more.
Yep.
They're getting back higher quality.
Yep.
And they're getting back half units that have died. That's the nice thing about Nighthaunt or Stormcast is once the unit dies,
it's dead.
That's it. They're not coming back. I think Nighthaunt had one command trait where they get a once per game half unit back or something like that on a 4-up.
Yep.
Not a big deal. But it's like, okay, you go into it knowing, all right, it's like when you fight trolls, right?
Yep. You gotta kill them dead.
Kill them off, or they're going to heal up, right?
It's at least when you fight Glogs, make them up.
Exactly. But
you have to kill them.
In Soulblight, it should be the same way. You kill off the whole unit of skeletons, and then you can breathe a sigh of relief. It's like, whew, all right.
Okay, we got rid of that. Next.
You didn't, because now the very next turn they're rolling, and if it's their turn, it's a 3-up. If it's your turn, it's a 4-up to bring back half those skeletons. It's crazy. So if you haven't killed the unit all the way, they res.
Yep.
If you killed the unit all the way,
they res.
And the units that are being rezzed
are
good. Graveguard are legit good, but the other units are good too. I mean, they're fine.
The thing with the zombies and skellies is in combat they will stand up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They have even more recursion.
That's true.
They do not die.
The zombies one is sort of meh because you have to roll. They have to kill something. So everything they kill on a 2-up, they get a zombie back. But frankly, 1 zombie or 2 zombies is like nothing, right?
Yeah, it's just more meat.
It's just more meat. Skeletons, though, they get like an auto rally on a 4-up every single combat.
Yeah,
that's true. I forgot about those. So they're already rezzing as well.
It's too much.
It's too much. I think that's the problem.
It's like bad too much.
You're getting too many units back. You're getting too many bodies.
Too many good bodies.
Too many wounds. Too many attackers that can actually do something. Now, are half units as effective? No. But they're not effective. Right?
And they can spawn anywhere.
They have to be within 9 inches of a grave site, but you get 4 grave sites on the board.
Yeah, and so if you position them right, you can have basically where
you get a lot of board coverage. But also, I feel like even in the late game, you roll and it's like, oh shoot! And if you're a gitz, right, you get back your 5 bounders on battle round 4 and a half, bottom of 4.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my gosh, these guys have 1 chance to get into combat. They're probably not even going to do anything for me.
Go stand on the circle.
Well, that's the thing. Whereas in Soulblight, even if they get brought back in round 4 or 5, they'll probably still be able to stand on an objective.
Yes.
And get you some points, right? Because of all the different places you can res them. So I really feel like Soulblight just has way too much quality, too much quantity.
They have quality.
It's
and
not
quantity.
Localized, and your opponent has no way to stop it.
It's just too much.
There needs to be something in there. Either give your opponent a chance to stop it, reduce where they can be rezzed. Although I don't know if either one of those. I don't know if reducing the amount of res is good for the game, but make the units that can be rezzed a lot weaker, so that you're getting, you're bringing back. So essentially, you're bringing back bodies. You're not bringing back good fighters. You're bringing back more chaff that's going to get in the way.
More meat.
More meats.
More meat for the meat grinder.
But something, because where it is now, I think playing against Soulblight, playing with Soulblight is sort of fun, because you're like, haha, you can't kill me.
Yeah.
But playing against Soulblight
is fun.
It's sort of a pain. It's sort of a pain. Because,
I sometimes dislike playing them.
Yeah, you invest a lot into them to like try to kill a unit or whatever.
And then they come back in a worse position for you. Yeah,
then they come back, and you had to use up your resources, which don't come back,
to kill things that come back. It's like I do sometimes not have a great time fighting them.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. So I think that Recursion as a mechanic, sort of high level, can be good. I think it makes Nighthaunt feel good. I think with maybe a couple of tweaks, I think it works really well with gitz.
Yep.
But as we have seen,
you need to fix something.
It could also be very, very overdone.
Yes. I think I figured out how to kill Soulblight.
How's that?
Shoot a dodge of the blob at them. The 15-pack of Snake Lady.
Sure. So, yeah. So I think Recursion is fine.
Yeah.
Maybe just not always in the way that it's implemented. But let us know in the comments below, what are your thoughts? How have you felt about Recursion? And what armies haven't we talked about? I know, for example, Bone Reapers have a lot of Recursion. We don't have a Bone Reapers army.
Nope.
So I don't know if it's good or bad, but we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And there are other armies that have Recursion to lesser or greater amounts. Let us know in the comments below your thoughts. Any final thoughts?
Nope. We fought them all.
We have fought them all. This has been another episode of Battle Ready.
Ready.
Thanks so much for watching.